What's up, War Report family? Your guy Ike Jones here. We are back with another morning drop. It is Wednesday, March the first day of March. It's time to get straight to this. Y'all know how we do. We're talking about Auburn basketball. I know. Yeah, I don't want to talk basketball. We're going to talk basketball, man. We got more games to play this season. We're going to talk basketball. Can Auburn rebound against Bama tonight? Literally and figuratively. Let's talk about it right here. Morning drop style. Y'all know how we do. Let's drop it on them.
You are now listening to the War Report. Drop.
Morning drop. Your guy Ike Jones here with my man. I was finna say Mike G. I'm so used to saying Mike G. My guy B Will. My bad, man. You know what I'm saying? B Will in the place to be, man. We are here talking basketball. I know spring camp started. I know everybody's in football mode already. But dang it, it's basketball season, man. It's March. We gonna talk basketball in March, man. How you gonna have March happening and y'all don't want to talk basketball?
I mean, it hurts to talk basketball right now. It hurts.
It don't hurt me to talk basketball, man. I listen, man. People were asking me. My guy Jazzy was like, man, sorry you had to drive all the way to go all the way to Kentucky to watch it. I'm gonna support my guys, man. I'm gonna support my guys, win, lose, draw, drubbing, whatever. I'm here for them. I'm here for my guys.
I'm here too.
Listen, and it's a big game tonight, man. It's a big game tonight. We're heading to Turd Town to take on the Tuscaloosa turd champs, whatever they call themselves right now. You know what I'm saying? So tonight's a big night, man. I don't know what to expect from the team, but I can tell you things that I want to see happen. That's what I can do. I can say that game to game, this team doesn't seem like the same team, so I can't predict what's going to happen, but I could tell you what I'd like to see.
Okay. What would you like to see?
I would like to personally see if Wendell Green is going to take more than 10 shots tonight, more than 10 shots.
Okay.
I need him to make at least 6 of those.
Okay. So you need him to shoot above 50%. That's
if he's going to take if he's going to take more than 10 shots. Now, 10 or more shots, I need him to yes, be in that range because I want him taking more efficient shots because it seems like when he shoots more and then he's distributing less, right? Like he's not, there's very few games where he's going to have high assists and high points, right? So if he's going to shoot the ball a lot, I need him to score a lot tonight because he really kind of controls the pace of the game.
Yeah, I mean, he does. So let me ask you this. Based on what you've seen of Bama's defense, what are the chances that distributing is a legitimate option? It seems that early we actually get into some sort of flow and Wendell distributes well, but we don't hit shots. And then he kind of like, okay, well, fine. Does this just come down to the others actually hitting some shots?
I mean, I think that that's a portion of it. I think he needs to be patient, though, right? Like, Kentucky's a good example. We weren't out of that game. We were in that game up until about a minute and something left in the first half of the game. And then all of a sudden, we started getting impatient with our stuff. And we started trying to, like, match shot for shot. You don't have to match them that early in the game. You just need to continue to do what got you to that point in the game, which is be patient on offense and go aggressively attack the board rebounding wise. And that's really the biggest key, right? Yeah. Like Wendell's a key. Rebounding is the key. If you're not going to shoot well, you have to rebound well.
We need more shots.
You got to get more bites at the apple if you're going to be able to do it, right?
There was a game, I was doing some sports betting, the Orlando Magic, right? There was a guy who had not played for like over a year. I think his name was Jonathan Isaac. And he's like a 4. He's a power forward / center. Maybe he's like 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah. You're right. He's more like 6'9", 6'10", correct.
Yeah. So the Magic were okay. They had some injuries. So once he came back, they had Mo Bamba. They had this kid. They had like 4 guys in their front court who were all like 6'10" and taller. They won a game. They won a game that they were favored to lose by 9. Because they took 17 more shots at the basket than I think it was Philly. It was Philly, and they out-rebounded Philly who of course was favored to win the game by like 9.5 points. And I was like, how are they? Oh, that's why. So I started checking the stats. I'm like, y'all rebounded like crazy. For 5 or 6 more offensive rebounds, more like 10 more defensive rebounds than Philly. I was like, this is the recipe.
Yeah.
You don't have to be great on all. I mean, you still have to be good at what you do. You're a basketball player. But if you're not going to be able to hit shots and stay in games shooting 48, 49, 50%, then you know what? Get more bites at the apple, like you just said. Get the ball, man. Get the ball, get it back, put them back on defense, tire them out a little bit more, and get some easier shots, some garbage time shots, and some bunnies in there. But we haven't been able to do that.
Yeah, that to me has been the ailment for this team, right? Missouri, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, Kentucky, rebounding. We have not rebounded the ball particularly well in those games. You know, the foul situation is definitely a problem, but I think the bigger problem is you play a good defensive possession and you're not going to be able to play every possession perfectly, but you have to finish that possession with a rebound. And then on the offensive end, you just need to give yourself more opportunities to be able you have to limit their opportunities and give yourself more. It's not really chess.
Right.
That's really checkers. It's hey, if they're going to take shots and miss them, secure the defensive glass. If you're going to be missing a lot of shots, you need to get more offensive rebound.
So let me ask you this. Is there any advantage to playing Broom at the 4, Cardwell at the 5
Yes.
to get an advantage in size?
Yes.
Now,
But
why haven't we seen more of
problem
that?
is because we don't have anybody on the bench.
Right. So that would be it. There would be no bigs once those guys
if they
had to
get
take
into
a seat.
foul trouble or we need to get them a breather. Who do you go to? Right. You have to put then Jalen Williams in at the 4 and then Traore, right?
Right. He's not a physical enough presence to be effective.
Or you got to go to stretch, or right, like you have to figure out how to steal minutes with some other guys who are not really super productive with the minutes that they've been given thus far in the season.
Right.
And so that is people talk about the guard play being the issue for this team. I actually beg to differ.
Front court depth.
The front court depth is the issue for this team.
Yeah. Because
your guards can play exactly how they play right now, and you get more rebounds and you probably win more basketball games.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, our guards do need to take better shots. I think shot selection is a problem for our guards. Like they're taking shots in situations where we're not able to get in there and rebound really well, right? Too early in the shot clock, in a place where people aren't able to crash the boards. But if we're going to be effective as a team, we've got to have better shot selection from our guards for sure. Got to limit our turnovers from our guards for sure. But not having enough depth in the front court, you've got Jalen Williams, who is definitely a good 3/4 player, right? You've got Janai Broom, who is really a good 4/5 player,
4.
But more
he
so
plays like a 5, but he's a 4 size, yeah.
Right. And then you've got Dylan Cardwell, who's an ideal 5. But if you play, which in my opinion is kind of your best lineup to be able to be big and still be able to score, which is going to be Wendell Green. Listen to this.
Trey Donaldson.
I'd actually say Alan Flanagan at the 2.
Okay.
Jalen Williams at the 3. Janai Broom at the 4. And Dylan Cardwell at the 5. That allows you to be big in 4 of your 5 and still have your pace control guy. And you can take Wendell off the 4 and put Trey there at the 1, right? Because you got enough scoring at your 3-4. And then you can still get some scoring from Flan at the 2 in that situation, right? You can then swap out. But the problem there is, again, you play that lineup and somebody's in foul trouble, you don't really have anywhere else to go.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem for this team still to me is the fact that you're not getting what you thought you were going to get from Johan Traore and Chance Westry.
Yes. Chance at the 2 would have been, what we expected him to be able to be at this point in the season at the 2 would have been a big help.
Him at a big 1, being able to control the ball, and then you're able to let Wendell go off the ball, or you're able to, bring KD in and be off the ball. That's a difference maker, man.
Right.
Could you imagine that lineup I just said? Chance Westry, Alan Flanagan, Jalen Williams, freaking Janai Broom, Dylan Cardwell. That's
Yeah.
a very big lineup to try out there that has two dynamic scorers, a big point guard, an energy high flying wing, and then a guy whose primary goal is to be in there as a backstop slash rebounder slash uh
Yeah.
defensive whatever, right? That's a really good lineup to try out there, except for Chance Westry hasn't been there this season for you.
Right. Right. So, I mean,
We could have played small ball with Johan, right? And put Broom at the 5, Johan at the 4, Jalen at the 3. You could go Chance Westry at the 2, Wendell Green at the 1, and have a smaller lineup you tried out there. Still big in some places, but smaller lineup. Alan Flanagan at the 3. You know what I'm saying? Like Jalen at the 4, right? Like there's a lot of lineups that you could play with out there. Johan at the 5 in that scenario, and be really small, but be athletic and get up and down the floor. You're missing the contribution of those two guys severely.
Yeah, Johan and Westry. I think they set us back as far as them not being able to develop. I know Chance was mostly the injury early and kind of got sandbagged because of that with his progress. And I don't know exactly what the deal has been with Trayor, but like you said, I think seeing him in Israel and seeing him be a participative scorer, uh, looks like he was engaged. But when he got on the court this season, he just looked a bit lost, like he wasn't all there. I don't know if it was intimidated by the season. That's something that I think we've speculated about before, but it pokes a hole in your lineup. You can't go as deep on your bench. You've got guys who can be serviceable in certain roles, but like you said, Stretch can be a 3-4, but really it would be just defense and hustle. Chris Semo was actually playing really well, but since he got hurt and came back, I don't know if he came back and he's kind of protecting the shoulder when he comes back, but the defender and the hustler that he was at times, he was a good rebounder as well. We're missing that. We're missing that quite a bit, and we don't have the bodies, it seems, to be our best selves on any given night.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Semo was a starter for this team, which means you had Alan Flanagan coming off the bench. And that's been a big issue for us, as our bench scoring just hasn't been there, right? Like we're not getting any productivity off of the bench. When you look at guy, like as much as I like Trey Donaldson, he's not a scorer off the bench, right? Like he's going to be a guy who's going to give you a lot of effort. He's going to protect the ball for the most part. He's going to be able to push the ball with tempo. He's a great passer, good effort on defense, but he's not a scorer. So you're not getting scoring when you bring him into the game. Semo has never really been a scorer, so you're not going to get scoring when you bring him into the game. Dylan Cardwell, not a scorer. You're not going to get scoring when you bring him into the game, right? And those are really the three guys that you're going to see come off of the Auburn bench most likely. KD's the only scorer that comes off of the bench, but he's so up and down in his scoring that you can't really count on that as productivity game to game. So, yeah, you miss being able to rotate Alan Flanagan in off the bench. Not that Alan Flanagan is a great scorer, but he is someone who you can come in and he's going to give you 8 to 10. When he was getting into his double digit pace or whatever, that was a guy that you'd love to see be able to bring you 12 points off the bench.
Right. Yeah.
You don't have that right now. Right.
Yeah.
And so, I think it's difficult to be high on the team right now. And I get, fan sentiment being what it is, but the fact of the matter is, again, I have to remind people, everybody thought Missouri was going to blow the doors off of Auburn when they stepped into Auburn Arena. They did. You look at people, I guarantee there was a lot of people out there who were like, yeah, Missouri's just going to beat us. We're not playing very good right now. This is a very different thing. I'm not comparing Missouri to Alabama. Alabama's a better basketball team than Missouri. Get it. Got it. Good. But Alabama is a team that can be beat.
Yeah. And they've been wearing down here the last few.
The South Carolina game, South Carolina is not a great team. South Carolina should have won that game.
Yeah, they should have.
Brandon Miller had to score 41 and save them in regulation and overtime for them. And he took like 84 steps on that last shot that he he had to do all of that. I see why they do TSA pat downs on him. He's traveling a lot. But he had to do all of that in order for them to beat a not so great South Carolina team. Right. The Arkansas team, though they're better now, they're playing better now that Nick Smith is back in the lineup, hasn't been great this year. And Bama struggled against them. They weren't great in that game. So again, not some impervious juggernaut that we're going up against. We can beat this team, but it's going to take a lot of effort and energy. And the question is really again on the defensive glass or on the glass particularly, can the team rebound and mentally can they rebound from what happened in Kentucky? Because this is the first time they got smacked all season.
Right. And that's what worries me. I think Bruce he remarked about how many games they have played. Physically, they're tired. When you can't go really deep into your bench, then that ratchets up even more. Like now
Mm-hmm.
you're thin, really at 4 and 5, honestly. Your rotation has been condensed because Simo can't give you the same minutes. I don't know if you're pushing and you're pushing and you're pushing, and you see you're losing Saturday after Saturday. You've been losing these games, and then it just seems to all kind of like pile up at the same time. And then Kentucky, you just get blown out the water. And now you go and play what is by metric and by eye test the best team in our conference. Listen, we know what our best case scenario is. It is a very tight, button together, efficient defensive game where we hold it down and we at least get good looks and we hit enough of them to stay in the game. Can you give that effort? Still tired, because I promise you, those all that energy you're expending, you get a little more tired if it ends up in a loss.
Yeah.
Like you got to bring it back together every after every loss and go, all right, no, we know what we got to do. We know where we messed up. And you're checking your notes and you're like, all right, so here's how we adjust the game plan. And you put together a phenomenal effort. And that phenomenal effort results in the loss. Man, it gets harder to get up. And they're humans. Yes, these are players. They are not professional athletes, but these are still athletes who they are mentally steeled to get out there and keep doing this, but it wears on you to keep losing. And that's what I worry about this team. Whether no matter who they were going to play tonight, you keep losing, man. I hope that their spirits are high enough to give their best effort tonight.
Yeah, a belief is a very strong drug, and hopefully they have taken copious amounts of it so that we can go out there and put forth a good effort. You guys are here. While you're here, make sure you share the video. Make sure you add us at the War Report so we can get other people involved in the conversation. Like the video. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up right now while you're here looking at the video. Subscribe to the channel. If you're here just kind of ghost watching, man, listen, it don't cost you nothing to subscribe. You don't even have to watch no more videos after you subscribe. If you're just like, you know what, I hate him, but War Eagle, I support you. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, man. We appreciate that anyway. Speaking of beliefs, I believe that you guys need to head over to the Rogue Shop. I think that, it's a good idea to get yourself some anxiety relief because y'all seem like y'all got a lot of anxiety around basketball, man. Listen, because we had the whole gummy segment last year when we were doing this with the Rogue Shop. We probably should have brought that back because y'all stressing out about the basketball team. A lot of you would like to forget them. Rogue Shop does not have anything that allows you to forget things, right? So sorry, there is no salve or bath salt or gummy or candle that erases memory. So just go there and relieve your stress and chill out for a minute. But rogueshop.com, using code rapport to go over there. That lets them know that you are a big War Report supporter and supporter of the Rogue Shop, and we appreciate all that. We're going to get here into the comment section, though, and hear what you all have to say. It's a great part of what we do every morning when we're in here, listening to you all give your thoughts, or at least reading your thoughts. We're going to start with Michael Carlisle, who says, preach, Ike. I will do that. Just thank you very much. This team needs a boost, need to make a tourney run. This team can still make the tournament, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, they're not out of it. I know everybody was all NIT like 4 weeks ago. You get one of these two and you don't get smacked in either one of them, you're going to the tournament. You beat Bama or you beat Tennessee and you don't lose badly to either one of those teams, you're going to be in the tournament.
So the thing about our schedule and the view of what the tournament is and what the tournament should be is that slots 1 through 12 are usually for teams who major conference teams and other conferences, because we're not just talking Power 5. There are some basketball conferences that count as major when it comes to college basketball, like the Big East, right? Mm-hmm. UConn's over there and Xavier and Villanova. That's a big conference. If in basketball, if we're going to equate it to football, it'd be like a Power 7 or something like that. 1 through 12 is kind of reserved for those teams in those conferences. And then you've got your automatic bids for your smaller conferences if they win their tournament or if they win their season. I don't know if they get in for just winning their season conference. regular season?
I don't actually know how that works
I
for
don't think so.
the mid majors and the smaller conferences, whether you have to
Okay.
win your tournament or like I don't know how the auto qualifier goes for
Right,
them.
right, right. But anyway, so we look at Auburn and how we've been struggling and how we've lost. We got blown out by Kentucky and we lost to Tennessee early and it was tight. We lost to Bama and it was tight. We lost to Texas A&M. So we go, man, we lost so many games. We're losing games in a row. It's a losing streak. The best 64 teams. One thing we have to remember is that we're definitely one of the best 64, well, it's technically 68 now, 68 teams. Like we
Right,
are still one of those. We are playing against some of the best 30 teams,
right,
and
and
we're
that's
losing against the best 30 teams.
exactly.
Right. So
It's
that's the
hard to
difference.
keep that perspective in your mind and saying, "Oh, we're an NIT team." But no, we're not a championship team. But are
Right.
we one of the best 68 teams in the country? Yes.
Right, right. We're one of the best 68. Now, I understand how this could go off the rails if you lose badly at Bama, then you lose to Tennessee at home.
Right.
Now I see the case, but you have to remember those are still two of the top 10 teams in the
Right.
country. You lose to Kentucky, the way they are rated now in NET, I think they are top 30. We're losing to a bunch of top 30 teams. So all that says to me is we're like 30,
Right.
31 to
We'll
35.
likely make the tournament, but we probably won't win but one game if we win that one.
Right. Now, recency and the optics of going on a losing streak when we go on it and how it looks, how bad that we lose, all of that does play into the decision, I'm sure. I know NET is not like a slam lock case for, well, these are the ratings, so let's just 1 through 68 on the NET. That's not quite how it goes. We can still be one of the best.
Michael Carlisle giving us the news here. No spot for mid majors for regular season champs. Only conference tourney champs go.
Oh, okay,
I will
okay.
be at the MVC Arch Madness this weekend, and the winner will get the bid regular season champ automatic to the NIT. So you got to
Gotcha.
win the tournament.
Gotcha. So my guess is unless you're like highly ranked like a St. Mary's and Gonzaga, they're in the same conference. So one of them is not going to win
Right.
the conference, but the other one will likely be in because they've been high in their conference all year. They're high enough in the NET to get in there. But okay, so that's good to know. So we are definitely one of the best, I would say 50 teams in the country. All right, I could say that confidently. I don't know how, well, I want to say I don't know how. I understand why everybody's afraid of us missing. Oh, well, we're not, again, we're going up against 30 and better. That doesn't mean we're not 31 through 64 here or
Right.
68 here. So I want everybody to keep that in mind. We're talking about our tournament chances. I do think we can botch this up, though.
Yeah.
You can lose embarrassingly 2 times in a row to your last 2 opponents and then go into the tournament, don't win a SEC tournament game. Now it's extra spicy. And I think that would be the reason that you get kicked out, because then you're going against some of the bottom dwellers of the conference. We're still mid. We're definitely mid of the conference.
Right.
You go against an Ole Miss and lose. You go against a Mississippi State and lose. You go against a Georgia, South Carolina and lose, or a Missouri who you just drummed and you lose. Now there's a case for you to be left out the tournament. Other than that, we have to stay competitive in our last 2 games. And I think we're all right.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, right? But again, I understand people feeling like, well, this team can't win a championship. Why do we don't even need to be in the
Right.
tournament?
Right.
I get
Right.
it. I understand the sentiment, but that's not how it works. Now, another thing that could derail it is some team like Vandy going on, that's outside of the field of 64 right now, going on a crazy run in the SEC tournament and win the tournament, right? So they get the
Right.
auto qual, and then you've got
Right.
these other people who would have qualified anyway, like Bama,
Mhm.
Tennessee, Kentucky likely going to qualify now. Arkansas still may qualify now, right? And
Mhm.
those teams who are ahead of you in the net in the conference make it, and then you get the auto qualification from a team who was outside of it,
Right.
right, in the tournament, right? Though there's a lot of scenarios. Texas
Right.
A&M's likely going to make the tournament, right? There's a lot of teams from the conference already going to make it. If you don't handle business in these last 2 games, and to your point, B. Will, you don't at least win one in the conference tournament, and one of
Mhm.
those other teams goes on to win the tournament,
It's still
you
your
put
spot.
yourself way behind the 8 ball.
Mhm. Mhm.
Let's go to Valencia, who says, I will be at the game tonight. So will I, Valencia. I am making the trip to Tuscaloosa, so I will be in the building. I am there to see my guys do work. P-Pass says, never prod a wounded tiger. Absolutely bad business if you decide
Mhm.
to do that. Hopefully the guys come out playing with their backs against the wall
For
and with
sure.
something to prove. This team, Michael Carlisle jumps back in, must defend to win. Been saying this all season. We have to check their guards outside and not let them downhill, let them get downhill looks at the basket. Missouri game is the blueprint. Look, Missouri and Bama, the strategy was the same in those two games. We just executed it a little bit better against Missouri. And
Missouri doesn't have the inside talent that
yeah,
Bama has.
the difference between the two is that Missouri is not as big, right? And so we were able to control the glass in that game. And that's why I say it's going to come down to effort defensively on the glass and making sure that we limit their, or not just defensively, but offensively, but on the glass to make sure we're limiting their second chance opportunities. And we're doing a better job on our end, being able to get ourselves second chance. And to your point, this is a very key point. Not letting them get downhill. We did a much better job of not letting Missouri get downhill on their drives, because the strategy was, all right, if they're going to kill us, they're going to have to kill us from 2, not 3 against Bama last time. And we did a good job of that. We forced them into a lot of 2s. They shot a high proficiency on those 2s, though, because the looks were too easy sometimes. Just got to do a better job of just showing some resistance and letting them get downhill. Derek Anderson jumps in. We can beat Alabama. Heck, we can beat almost anyone in the country. Most of our losses have been, we have been in it. We just got to rebound, not get stupid fouls, and knock down some shots, mainly free throws. This is a big thing, man. Our free throw shooting, we've got some guys who aren't great free throw shooters. Janai Broome is kind of a on again, off again free throw shooter. But the misses we get from guys like KD, who used to be shooting in the 80% range, Wendell Green every now and then. I think I remarked this, and hopefully he breaks this streak. And I don't know if this is a true statement because I haven't gone back to research it. I don't know that Wendell Green has made all 3 foul shots when getting fouled on a 3-point shot yet this season. He usually is going to miss one of them 3. I have to go back and check it, but he gets fouled on 3-point shots pretty frequently. I don't know that he's made all 3 yet on a trip where he got fouled and needed 3 shots or earned 3 shots.
I did not know that.
He just misses one of them pretty frequently. So we just got to get in a better free throw shooting rhythm. Hopefully we'll have officiating that allows us to get to the line if they're going to be calling fouls in this game, but we'll see how that works. Haley jumps in and says we need everyone to shoot relatively well, and shot selection needs to be damn good. We need to be able to rebound very well and not give Bama multiple second chance shots. Agreed.
Yeah, for sure. And we like we were talking about, lineup is probably our biggest hindrance as far as rebounding goes. But Bama's a long enough team to where that's going to be more of a challenge than it was against a team like Missouri. So hopefully they're bringing the hard hats.
Yep. Effort and energy, man. Hit the free throws in the second half when the game is close. Can't be 5 minutes left and missing 1-and-1s. Absolutely. Absolutely. James Barnett, fellas, we have to blow them out in order to win there. Refs are not going to let us win a close game in T-Town. Thoughts on that?
I think a close game in T-Town comes down to how well we shoot. And that's why I actually like, we can only win a close game. That's I don't think we shoot well enough to blow them out there, because what that means we'd have to be doing is really hitting an inordinate amount of threes. That's
if we're shooting a lot of threes, then we're it's a completely different ball game.
Right. So if we're gonna shoot and hit at a really high clip at 3, then we're gonna blow anybody. I mean, that happens in basketball all the time, though. So you see something, a team favored to lose by a lot. Listen, man, if that team comes out winning by double digits or something, check their 3-point percentage. Or they just outshot the team because they out-rebounded the other team by a really wide margin. So out-rebound or outshoot them at the 3-point line. That's how you do it. I think those things give us a close win. I don't see us really being able to blow them out in T-Town.
Yeah. It's going to be a difficult game. A blowout, I don't see that happening unless Bama shoots like they did against South Carolina. They didn't shoot particularly well in that South Carolina game. And South Carolina defended pretty well. But if they have a shooting performance like that, then we do have an opportunity. But again, it's going to come down to how well we rebound. Because if they're going to shoot poorly but get a bunch of second chance shots, doesn't matter. Right. Justin Thomas jumps in. Our team is known for shooters having the green light. So why do we only see 4 shot attempts from Trey and Zep? This is a good question.
I think that we did have to have typically, I go back to, of course, not only the year we had with Bryce Brown and Jared Harper and Chuma the Final Four, but the following year we had Javon McCormick,
Mm-hmm.
We had Samir Dowdy.
Mm-hmm.
We had Isaac Okoro.
Mm-hmm.
These guys were also not afraid to shoot. They shot their shot. Dowdy was hitting threes at a very good clip. Like, we had shooters for like two seasons, and I still regret not being able to have that SEC tournament champion team get a chance to play in the tournament in spring of 2020, because I think that would have been a special run. But we had the shooters. They had the mentality though. I remember Samir hitting like a really, really long shot. It actually made like as a sports in the top 10, and then he like shimmied after that. He was a shooter. And he got better from year 1 to year 2 here. We don't have the shooters. These guys don't have the confidence
Yeah.
to do that. Like, Zep can score. I think Zep can score. I
Mm-hmm.
think Zep was more committed to being the stopper on defense, the ball stopper on defense. Mentally, he is not in the position to score. He has never been touted as a scorer. They didn't put the ball in his hands a lot on design stuff. So how do you turn a guy into something that he's not? Ability is one thing, but are you that dude that's going to get me a bucket? Yes or no? And I don't think enough of these guys believe that or want to try to be that. They're trying to play the role that was given to them. And honestly, I think most of them do a good job. We don't have a scorer. We can try to make a score out of somebody. I think Wendell's a better distributor than he is a scorer, and he tries to turn himself into a scorer, and it doesn't really work. Not because he can't do it, but because, listen, I can score, but this is not what I'm built to do here. We are missing some vital pieces of a basketball team when it comes to size and rebounding, and also just a killer mentality when it comes to scoring. These guys trying to turn themselves into that is not going to work, and that's why it doesn't work on a consistent basis. We need dudes who, this is what I do, I score, and we just don't have those dudes, man.
Yeah, the guy, and I said this before, he is, for regardless of what people think about him, he's the key to me for us to be able to be better late game. Is KD Johnson, who has the mentality of, man, I can score whenever I want to.
Mm-hmm.
But he just doesn't have the proficiency or the efficiency in his shot selection and shot making to be able to do it. But his mentality says,
Right,
man, I can get a bucket whenever I want to, bro.
right.
There's literally nobody on this court who can stop me.
Yeah. His size has limited him, and what you lose with turnovers at a certain point in time with him was why I'm sure his role got pared
And
down a little bit.
He was really bad against Kentucky. He was that was one of the worst games I've seen him play this year, was against Kentucky.
Yeah. But so we have one dude, but he's not consistent enough at everything for it to be valuable for us to keep him on the court and say, hey, go do it. So we're down pieces. We're down some pieces. This is what we are and where we're at in the season. But I don't expect Trey and Zep to just go, you know what, I got this, because that's not who they are.
Yeah.
But
they have the green light to do it. Like, I don't know. Like, I liked the effort and energy I saw out of Zep Jasper in the Kentucky game. Like, when he was going and he was coming downhill, he looked aggressive. He looked like he was one of the few people who I watched his activity during that game. And I said to myself, that young man is coming ready to play. In the second half. The first half, it looked like a lot of people. Second half, it really only looked like Zep was out there moving with purpose and really giving energy, specifically on the offensive end when he had the ball in his hands. But then he didn't take any shots. And I was just like, yo, man, just, hit the little step back that you got and give him something, man. Because he's got it in his bag. I watched him do it. I've seen him do it before, but he has to kind of make up in his mind, ain't nobody else gonna do it this game. All right, I got y'all. Ben Bloodworth jumps in. Even if we don't make the tournament this year, there's no need to panic. We've got great recruits coming in next year. Trey Orr and Westry should be better contributors. 2024 will be fun.
Yeah, I think the future's bright. The future's extremely bright. Bruce has made note of what our deficiencies are. Obviously, he's corrected it with Aiden Holloway, the big center that we got coming in. Is he 2024? Peyton
I think
Marshall?
he's a 24 guy. I don't remember actually what year he is.
Yeah. And the two guards we've got in the 24 class. Listen, we've got scoring, we've got size coming, and he's still going to do work in the portal because he always does. So I'm not worried about the future. I get it's really disappointing for everybody to live through this season. I imagine it's even more disappointing for the players. So I try to keep that in mind when we're ragging on how down this season has been compared to prior seasons. But the future is bright, and I'm encouraged by that as well, Ben.
Yeah, but I have to agree with this point brought up by P-Pass. I think we still need to make the tournament for recruiting purposes. Um, listen, it's something to tout that you haven't missed an NCAA tournament in blah 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 years, and we want to keep that streak going. They have an opportunity still to do that, though, right? Like it's not out of the question. Like I know a lot of fans have written off the team. It's not out of the question that we make the NCAA tournament. In fact, it is still very much a possibility. It's in question, but it's definitely not out of the question. So we just need to close out well here. And against two teams that I think we can beat, right? Like Bama's going to be a tough team to beat. Tennessee's much closer to us as far as they don't shoot the ball particularly well. We're going to have them at home. That's a more likely win of the two.
Right.
But this is definitely a gettable game, and they need to just go get it.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Point
sure.
blank, period. Cam jumps in here and says the fact that we're stressing about basketball shows how dope BP has been for Auburn. This cannot be underscored enough.
Right. Yeah.
People acting as if Bruce Pearl has lost it somehow and he doesn't understand what it takes to build winning basketball culture, and the game's passed him by, and he's I see all kinds of stuff that people are saying about Coach Pearl, and I just don't understand it because, again, I can list you a ton of reasons how this might be one of the better coaching performances I've seen him do in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Considering all the stuff that has not gone in the direction that he needs it to go in order to have the type of team he thought he was going to put out there on the court.
Right.
And the adjustments that I've seen him make defensively in games, and the strategic things that they've done as a staff to put people in positions to play good basketball. I could go down the laundry list of those things right now, but I don't know why I need to defend Bruce Pearl to people. I don't understand that. Like, I don't get having to come on camera and defend a coach that took a program that was in a situation where you could literally walk up to a game the day of the game and somebody would give you tickets to a team that you have to fight to get tickets for, and they sell out routinely just because we're not a surefire, which there is no surefire in collegiate basketball, but some people want to pretend like that's a thing. They're not a surefire Final Four team. I don't know. Again, I don't know why we have to exist in these extremes of we're going to kill everybody or we're terrible. We're an average team this year. Average teams make tournaments every single season.
Yep, the tournament is full of average teams. and yeah, they'll bow out in the first round, maybe make it to the second round, and that's the ceiling for your average team, but they'll still be there. That coach is still gonna have this many tournament appearances at one. So we have to be okay. And to the point, the expectations have been raised by Bruce Pearl, and the fact that everybody's down is proof of that.
Yeah. And I get it. I understand. We want to be able, it's our fan base is kind of like that guy who is just all dunks but no fundamentals. Like we get off on dunking on people online, right? Like that's our thing. We just want to be able to dunk on people. And when we can't dunk on people, we don't have nothing else to fall back on. And it's like, you don't have to be Sean Kemp, bro. Like it's okay to like be a solid role player out here and just support the team without having to dunk on people where it's like, but I can't dunk. We suck.
Yeah.
It's like, man, no, it's not dunking, bro.
It's
yeah.
that you know what? That's a very true of how it is in football. I think it's because we're a football school and football culture. There is one game that you can determine how much trash you could talk to the other team for the entire
for the next year.
Right. And that thing for us, that win in basketball, that's kind of unimpeachable is but Final Four appearance.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can hold that over the other team's head, and of course head-to-head matchups, but you didn't even make the tournament. That's the first threshold. But you didn't even win the conference, regular season or conference tournament. Well, you didn't make the NCAA tournament. Well, you got kicked out in the 64. You got kicked out in the 32. So we don't have anything this year tangible enough to fight back with, and I think it's bothering a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing with that's how it was with Georgia. It's like, man, but y'all ain't won a national championship in 50-some years. And it's like now you can't say that to them no more. You're like, our football team sucks. It's like, no, you just can't dunk no more.
Right.
So I get it, man. I really do. As a fan, I really understand. I understand your pain, but I also understand. Cheer for these boys tonight, and hopefully they can bring home the W, man. We are going to get out of here, though. We appreciate you guys. Continue to cheer for us by supporting the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, support the people who support us like the Rogue Shop. Head over to rogueshop.com using code rapport. I've seen some of you talk about your orders that you've been making from over there. Somebody recently said they were going to go get a candle at the recommendation of Mike G. Make sure you guys go ahead and support the people who support us, because it helps us continue to grow. We appreciate y'all, but we are going to get out of here. Again, I'll be in T-Town tonight. We still will have a midweek report tonight. Mike G and B will be here for sure tonight, talking to you guys a little bit about the basketball game, which will have started by that point in time, and definitely more football stuff. But we are out of here. Until next time, man, we appreciate y'all. War Eagle. Peace.
Peace.